All right, shalom. This is GMS Wisconsin once again with another part two to the series of how Esau uses witchcraft through his numbers. Okay, so we're gonna start off with Nahum 1 and 3,
3-1.
3-1. Select it.
No, right?
Okay.
Nahum 3-1. It says, "Woe to the bloody city! It is all full of lies and robbery."
Right. Destruction unto America, which is Babylon the Great, which is all full of lies. Like this guy who's being accused of killing Melendez. His name is Garcia, an Israelite.
The prey departeth not.
Right. Who is the prey? Guys like Garcia that's being abused and a prompt. I'll say it right. A prompt to the use of their witchcraft and basically the sacrifice ritual to their gods to help their city Kenosha, to bring prosperity to Kenosha.
It says, "The noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels."
Exactly, and that's exactly what they want, because that would be your cars today. And what do Kenosha, Wisconsin want? A lot of commerce, a lot of traffic, or better yet, a lot of tourists.
And of the prancing horses and of the jumping chariots. The horsemen lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain.
So America will be destroyed, even this little town, Kenosha, Wisconsin.
And a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpses.
Right.
Corpses.
So all of y'all who are part of this system will be destroyed in one form or fashion.
They stumble upon their corpses because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts.
See that? They pass this on generation to generation, sacrificing, using us as slave toys.
Yeah.
And they teach their kids from youth to come into being indoctrinated into this witchcraft, using this numerology, using their power seats in the system, being judges, being DAs, like this fake Jew that's supposed to be his public defender, which we know is a public pretender.
Says, "Behold, I am against thee."
See that? Behold, Yahweh is against America with you crackers. So keep using his people as prompts.
Said the Lord of hosts.
Right.
"And I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will shew the nations thy nakedness."
Right. That's why all of this get broadcast via internet throughout all four corners of the earth.
"And the kingdoms thy shame, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and I will set thee as a gazing stock."
Yep. Everybody gonna see America go down. And it said, lift up the skirts. Back in the ancient world, it was basically frowned upon to get caught using witchcraft. Witchcraft was it was punishable by death. Even in coming up to a couple of centuries ago, why I believe it was England who had to get rid of all the witches and warlocks, and they was casted out.
Even here in America,
Yep.
in the 16th century, they declared to basically drive out all the witches, and they went on a witch hunt, and they was publicly burning them and executing them all throughout all 13 states.
Yep. Which is Salem or something.
Thank you. That's what it is.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Tell me one more time.
The witches of Salem or something to that extent.
Yeah.
If
you actually look that up, if you look that up, they went on a hunt for hundreds of witches all over the county.
Yep.
And was burning them, and they was majority women.
And you see it in movies like Insidious and so on and so forth. I mean, they just start coming out with these movies too, with that storyline.
The movie that
they
we
had a
watched.
TV show on it also.
What's that one we watched with the witch? Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch.
Yeah, it was hanging them.
Yep.
And they show you, see how the whole city was mad?
Yep.
Because they knew that God was bringing plagues upon them because the witches using magic in their towns. So Yahweh is going to bring punishment upon you people in this town, in this county, in this division using witchcraft.
Yep.
It says, "And it shall come to pass that all they that look upon thee shall flee from thee. And
See,
say,
that's what everybody doing.
yeah,
Everybody trying to get away from your talisman, witchcraft. No.
Yep.
That's what it is. That line ass Federal Reserve monopoly money that's backed by promise. Promise what?
Promise that.
it says, and say Nineveh is laid waste.
Yep, and Nineveh is America. That's another name for America.
It says, who will bemoan her? When shall I see comforters for thee? Art thou better than populace? No. It says that was situate among the rivers, that had the waters round about it, whose rampart was the sea, and her wall was from the sea.
Yeah. Just showing you the riches and in-depth riches of Nineveh, and you can compare America like that too.
Yep.
From one coast, from New York all the way to California.
Mm-hmm.
They got a rich coast. They don't have no small countries broken up like Africa.
Right.
So it's rich from from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. It's
Mm-hmm.
all America.
And they'll tell you, America's the most wealthiest nation in the world when it comes to material.
Garden of Eden. Yeah. And they actually have a document, the document out called the wealth of the world, and they actually tally up all of the beef, they tally up all of the corn, they tally up all of the fish, they tally up all of the steel, they tally up all the mineral resource, and they start spitting out all them numbers, and just to compare it, so you can understand as a person, because you don't deal with hundreds of trillions of billions of dollars. They break them down into like filling Super Bowls up, because they know you can relate to that because you're a dumbass.
Listen, I got something.
It was good to watch too.
This is Micah 5:12, and I will cut off witchcraft out of thine hand.
Right, meaning you will have the lowest of the people be able to explain in detail like what you're witnessing today of y'all witchcraft. Yep. That's how it's being cut off, because it's not a secret no more.
And thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Thy graven
the spirits are not conforming with the soothsayers to have everything come into this reality to pass on time.
Yep.
You know,
to make it alive,
orderly fashion.
Yep. To make everything alive.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like I was going to say, to make everything alive, because a form of their witchcraft is to speak it. So if they can speak it and people believe on it, that brings the witchcraft and brings forth it. They brings it alive, basically, like I just said.
Yeah, it reverses it, it renews it every generation.
It's like it's the phoenix. The rebirth. It's the rebirth of it, and that's what we actually doing. Like college. That's a satanic organization.
Institution.
Yeah, and it's being rebirthed generation to generation. But we are cutting the witchcraft off by doing what? By us, this GMS Wisconsin camp will be doing an upcoming lesson on colleges, an in-depth study on college.
And
deep,
that
dark, dirty.
And
you know, like the dirty South. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's like the dirty South. That college shit is really on my mind now.
I was about to say, and that's the pulling down of Esau's heel.
That's pulling down the
stronghold. That's pulling down Esau's heel.
Yeah, because he used the witchcraft through the schools also.
Yep.
To indoctrinate you. Exactly.
Yep. It say, thy graven image, verse 13, thy graven images also will I cut off. And
thy American philosophy, American institutions.
Democracy.
Yep.
They democracy system. It says, they stand in images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands.
Right.
And I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee.
Right, because where you think the churches tell all the kids to go, especially all the poor black kids?
College. So will I destroy thy cities, and I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard.
That's why you got all them tornadoes coming through. Mm-hmm. But the last completion of y'all plague gonna be the missiles.
Okay. Yeah, I have Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 10. It say, "Thou shalt not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire."
Right, and that's what they doing over here in Wicked State, Wisconsin. They making all them sacrifices downtown. They're making all the sacrifices in these little miniature woods, and the officers cover it up. Just prime example on what possibly happened with this Garcia situation. Because the numbers that we're gonna get into, they numbers add up to these demonic days and demonic days of rituals.
Because we're pretty sure that there's witch covens even in the police stations and the police stations that they set up.
Yeah, that's why they got something called the blue wall of silence.
Yep.
Or that useth divination, or an observer of time, or an enchanter, or a witch.
Yeah. So Beyonce and Jay-Z, them, they are witches.
Yep.
And those of you women who go do the palm reading, tarot card reading,
Yep.
psychic,
Yep.
medium,
Crystal balls,
yeah,
the palm readers,
yeah, all
the
them.
card, the ones who do the witchcraft with the cards and stuff. Tarot cards, right?
None of that.
Or a charmer, or a counselor with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer.
And those are your high officials in your government, your congressmen, some of them, and then your top sheriffs in all the towns.
Yeah.
Because they the ones who cover up about the missing kids. Makes you never find.
Yeah, all your forensic people.
Yeah.
For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Most High. And because of these abominations to the Most High, thy power doth drive them out from before thee. So the Lord gonna get you, man, for doing all these witchcraft and these worshiping the times and all that stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's why America can be destroyed. Yep.
Okay, getting into this article, Garcia gets life in prison plus 33 years for Mazzara's murder. Okay, and we know that 33 goes back to 6. Okay,
6 months.
3, 6, yeah.
Go ahead. They gave him 6 months too. Oh, 9 months.
9 months. Well, yeah, 9 flip it upside down is
Inverted.
the 6. Is the inverted 6. Okay, want me to get on the numbers first and then get into it? Okay, so that's 33. Now the date of this was published 4/26, April 21st. Excuse me. Okay, now you go to this satanic holidays. Scroll up a little bit. Satanic holidays by Christian authors. Now this is a list of all satanic ritual days. And what day is put up? April 21st to 26th. Preparation for a sacrifice.
Yeah, so that's what it was.
And there was a preparation
That was a
for
2
sacrifice.
for 1. That was a 2 for 1.
Yep. So what you do is when you it's published 4/21, which that's not no coincidence, okay? And when you add up these numbers, it goes back to the number 11. Now, this is the symbolism and spiritual significance of the number 11. Not just read the first part because you ain't got to read it all. It says number 11 possesses the qualities of institution, patience, honesty, sensitivity, and spirituality, and is idealistic.
No, go ahead. You got to read the whole thing.
Okay. Others turn to people who are 11 for teaching and inspiration, and are usually uplifted by experience.
I was gonna say that's why they had 9/11, flipping 9 over to 6.
Yep. In systems such as astrology and basic numerology, 11 is considered to be a master number. 11 can also represent sin, transgression, and peril.
So yeah, that's all they're about. That's why 9/11. That's what 9/11 was about.
10 being the perfect number, 11 represents the exceeding of both. It is interesting to note that 11, when broken down, 1 plus 1 equals 2. Compresses the 2 of duality.
Yeah, you know they're about the duality because that's how you get into the sexual witchcraft. You get to the highest level.
Yep.
You gotta have a man and woman. You gotta be bisexual.
Yep. Number 11 is a master vibration and is and as such should not be reduced to a single number.
Yeah, that's Baphomet all the way. The indigenous god of the 5 pentagrams.
People with this number could be both idealist and visionary.
See that? Idealist and visionary. What they want the world to be.
And they are attracted to the unknown, spirits.
Yeah.
And they made the movie Unknown, which was connecting the people through the spirits. And that number was 11 in that movie, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
Yep. They can be both unusual, interesting, and magnetic personalities. Yeah.
For some reason we just attract.
I was just about to say and they can get along with anybody. Yeah. Because they got those split personalities. Yeah. The witches can be in any type of field they put them in.
Yeah, and they know how to adapt.
Yep.
That's what we have to do. Right. Yeah, we got that last little part.
Okay. 11 brings the gift of spiritual inheritance. Is gifted as the light bearer.
See that? They're the light bearer here.
It is the number of the light within all, strengthened by the love of peace, gentleness, sensitivity, and insight. Greatest facility is the awareness of universal relationship. It's related to the energy of opposition and the balancing needed in order to achieve synthesis. 11 is the peacemaker. Colors: gold, salmon, prune, white, and black.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So that's that number 11, which is when you go 21 to 26, those are the periods of this specific preparation for sacrifice. April 21st to 26th. And this guy Garcia's sentence the story was published on 4/21. So that's how all that connects.
Yeah, show you that even they run the news.
Yeah, the smallest detail.
Right. Show you that they run the Kenosha news.
Okay.
Now you see why you would never hear about no Israelites.
Mm-hmm. It says there was. People make sure they see it because I want to be small. It says there was no apology for family members for Lisa Marie Mesra, who attended a sentencing hearing Monday afternoon looking for some form of justice. Ultimately, that justice came in the form of life in prison for Javier Garcia without the possibility of parole, followed by 33 years and 9 months incarceration on the lesser charges of which he was convicted. Now, like we just broke down, that 3 and 3 is 6. Which is another demonic number, and the 9 is an inverted 6, which is basically 666.
Yeah, because everybody asks, like, if you get somebody like what was all these extra numbers always being added on? Could nobody ever answer that? Mm-hmm. Nobody would never answer you that. It's being answered today. Yep. It goes back to the demon. They worship witchcraft. Yep, numerology.
It says Garcia, 53 of Kenosha, was convicted of Mesra's August 2012 murder. Mesra, 26 of Kenosha, had gone, and that matches because she was 26, and 2 times 6 is what? I mean, yeah, they numbers got to add up. 2 times 6 is 18. Okay.
2 times 6 is 12.
Yeah, it's like it. And then you break that down into 6. There we go. Of Kenosha. So the names, I mean, the people and their ages matter too. Just like the boy who had it wasn't Alzheimer's. The boy who they just sacrificed.
Avante.
Yeah, Avante. Yep.
That law about it.
Yep. The law about putting the chip down. Yep. It says Mesra, 26 of Kenosha, had gone out with her co-worker, leaving her father's house with Garcia a few hours before her death. She was beaten, strangled, and her attacker tried having sex with her. Her body was left in the Beinai Zedek cemetery and found the next morning by a police officer.
Right,
a police officer.
See that? At all places you take to rape somebody,
Right.
you would take it to a cemetery.
It was a sacrifice.
No,
As
that
a
was a
sacrifice
sacrifice.
the virgin, and then you got the fool that he get the
Blamed for it.
yeah, exactly.
You're blamed for it. You have the officer come because ain't nobody gonna disprove that the officer found the body,
Yep.
and this is how he found it.
Yep.
So what was around, that was around. He's an officer. I just stumbled into this.
Exactly.
At a cemetery.
Who gonna rape
Officers
somebody
don't
in the
even go to
cemetery?
cemeteries. Like, they don't do routine checks.
All that shit was set up.
DNA evidence linked Garcia to Mesra, and
That's their science.
which they can manipulate.
Provocatory. No, just agent provocatory. Because who do Garcia know that he finna go get another investigator to have them to tell the Kenosha downtown, that you got to turn over all that evidence, and now our own investigators have to take it to our own labs, and then we have to check his DNA to see it. He don't have no access like that. Even if he do get a private investigator, they don't have their own labs. They labs got to go back to the same people who saying he did this shit. And what they're going to keep spitting out? We got his DNA.
Yep.
And that's why in 2000 they already did what? They made it a law that everybody in Wisconsin that's in prison have to take the DNA. That's why they already did that. So they already got your shit on file. So any of us can be framed at any time. They already got everybody DNA on file right now. If you ever been in prison, 2002, from 2000 to 2005, they stopped it. They made your ass take DNA, and they made you pay for it. I paid for it, $250.
It says DNA evidence linked Garcia to Mesra, and a jury took 1 hour in February to convict him of first-degree international homicide. International, yeah.
Because he probably was illegal.
Wait, intentional. Oh, that's international. I said, what the hell? Yeah. Intentional homicide, battery, attempted first-degree sexual assault, false imprisonment, and theft. Innocence maintained.
Which I don't know why Esau always add all this stuff on, because the scriptures say a little leaven leaven the whole lump. Basically, every crime that he committed is equal to death, basically.
Right. Yeah. But the more it paint like another Latin or another, black Latin, it's that stigma.
Yeah. He was called. He had battery, assault, theft,
people, battery. Yep. That's the common drug dealer, probably part of the gang.
Yep.
Yeah. Single mother.
Every drug dealer got to be a part of a gang. It says innocence maintained. At Monday's hearing, Garcia offered 2 sentences when he was given the opportunity to speak. I did not kill Lisa Mesra, he said. That's all I got to say.
Right. That is all he got to say.
He's sticking to his word.
Because he didn't do it. You can't make somebody say they did something and they ain't do it. And how many fucking words you think I got to say when I didn't do the shit?
Right.
I don't have a lot. People who really didn't do some shit, they don't have a lot of words to say to people. It's the motherfuckers who did shit who got all this talking.
Yeah.
That they got to do all this
explaining.
Right. When you guilty, you do a lot of explaining. When you ain't do that shit, you be blunt.
Yeah.
I ain't do that shit. That's
right. He's sticking to his word.
And there's nothing I can say, because then I'm gonna make y'all gonna make it feel like I'm lying to y'all.
Yep.
By trying to force me to give y'all something. So so that's why this man keep it blunt, and because he know he was framed. Yeah. And we know. So those of us are the light. We know this man has been framed. We know it's a part of an occultist worship of the numbers of sacrifice to high prosperity to their city. And that's what that whole Garcia case was. And there's thousands of cases of this happening on a daily all over America, all over Europe, and everywhere there's a damn devil Edomite white person with a cove.
Just like that Knox story. You clearly can tell that she was bugged out. But keep it going.
Yeah, no, that's it. We ain't gonna read all this.
Okay. Got anything?
Just do this. What did sister say? 6:10. Just looking at you. Gotta have water.
Yeah, I saw that too.
No, it's damn.
I did just see 16.
Yeah.
It says 610.
That's okay. That's it. That's it. We can try and shit.
Okay. Oh, here you go. Here you go. 610. Read.
Yeah.
Okay. It says, cause for punishment. Everyone else who spoke wanted Garcia to be punished severely. Mazzara's sister, Patty Hovey, has counted the days since her sister's death, writing in a letter read out loud to the court that it has been 610 days since Garcia stole her sister's life.
Okay. 10 completion, 6 to death.
Yep. Or they can 7 completion. Yep. 6. So these is all basically demonic numbers that they've been just throwing out there to let the in crowd know that this was a sacrifice.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, with that, say, call halal Yahweh Shemel Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, and that's just that miniature segment on us breaking down the numerology. Shalom.
Shalom.